Yo, this is Tony Roughcut, and remember the boat is Sound Radio. I listen to Wicked, your local radio station.
Hi, welcome to NUBIART with me, Kubara. NUBIART, a different perspective on the African world. Greetings one and all, Brother Kubara signing in. Welcome to the NUBIART show. Coming up on today's show, we're going to have the interview with a man called Godfrey Marawanyika. He's a scientist from Zimbabwe, the director of the Center for Renewable Energy and Environmental Technology, based right there in Harare. So that's going to be the interview for today. Very interesting, talking about renewable energy. And the other thing, the competition, I was giving away 2 copies of the book, Trench Town Concrete Jungle, Kill or Be Killed. The winners, Tole in New York, who said, she got it right, she said Montego Bay was the second city of Jamaica. And she also said if it's not Montego Bay, then it's Flatbush. So, yeah. And also Rosie up in Bradford. So 2 copies of those books, one each to both of you. The Trenchtown Concrete Jungle, Kill or Be Killed by Pauline Edwards. Very, very, very good book. Very good book. You can't get any more real than that book. If you want a copy of the book, it's in the bookshops, price $9.99. Okay, like I said, coming up on today's show, we're going to be looking at renewable energy. So what I'm going to do is, before I go into it, I'm going to play this man that I'm going to play a tune by is the Lion of Zimbabwe. And then after that, I will go into the interview with Godfrey Marawanyika from Zimbabwe. Songs of Thomas Mafumo and the Blacks Unlimited. This track's called Wawa. Yeah, I'm just in the studio here on my own tonight, just chilling out. Got to big up Reds, yeah, passing through earlier on. Yeah, Princess, she's gone to see the stories from between. Rashida Ashanti, who I interviewed last week. Yeah, Princess has gone to see what they're doing tonight. So I'm sure it'll be good, Gonna get a report back from that, should be next week. Want to send this tune out to all the people that entered the competition, especially Sister P up in Manchester. I know you want to be a winner all the time, but yeah, you know, other people have to spread the prizes around. Okay, so anyway, this is Thomas Mafumo, the Blacks Unlimited. This man is the Lion of Zimbabwe. Thomas Mafumo, the Blacks Unlimited. Okay, I'm going to play the interview with Godfrey Marawanyika. He was just passing through London just this week, and before he goes back to Zimbabwe at the end of the month. So I managed to catch up with him. He's the founding director of the Centre for Renewable Energy and Environmental Technology in Zimbabwe. So this is Godfrey just telling us about his work. Welcome, Godfrey.
Thank you very much.
Can you just give us a bit of your background?
Yeah, basically I did my A-levels in Harare, then I did my first degree at Bournemouth, and I did a postgraduate at the North East London Polytech before I went back home to work there.
Okay, and what were those subjects in?
I did mathematics and physics and chemistry.
Have you worked or studied in any other African countries? Because I know you're from Zimbabwe, anywhere else?
I didn't really study in any other African countries, but we've got working relationships with these other African countries because we had what we call the Commonwealth group of scientists. So we used to visit other countries to see what they're actually doing in the field of renewable energy.
Okay, so you set up the Centre for Renewable Energy and Environment Technology. What was the thinking behind setting that up?
Our main thinking was first to conscientize the population of Zimbabwe on the use of renewable energy, and also to give out periodic pamphlets so that people can understand what we really mean by the use of renewable energy as opposed to the use of fossil fuels and so forth.
When did you set up the centre?
In the year 2000.
Okay, and who were the people involved in setting up the centre?
We've got Dr. Manshona, Dr. Baloy, and Mr. Sata and myself.
So what does your job entail?
My job, I'm the one who really looks after the renewable aspect of it. So it means promoting the use of renewable energy in the rural areas and also to give information on the use of renewable energy in the cities, but mainly in the rural areas. That's where our focus is. We are promoting the use of windmills for generation of pumping water and generating electricity. We are also promoting the use of biogas. Digesters will produce the gas for cooking, also for refrigeration. But at the present moment, we are also using it as a means of sanitary deposit because we are connecting toilets to the biogas digester.
So how does biogas work?
Biogas, anything which can deteriorate, we mix it with water and then we cover it so that there is no air which comes in. Then we get the methane gas and a little bit of carbon dioxide. The methane gas is inflammable, so that's why it's called biogas. We've got the carbon dioxide and this methane gas. So basically what we've also done now is we've gone to the rural secondary schools. Instead of having separate toilets, we're now also getting the toilets connected to the biogas plant, and we call them biolatrines. So now we're using it for hygienic purposes and also for generating electricity, for generating gas. It's just like converting a sewage septic tank into a biogas plant.
What is the take-up of renewable energy across Zimbabwe?
It depends on what form of renewable energy you're talking about. Because if you look at trees, they're also a form of renewable energies. So in the first place, people have been cutting down trees and also creating a desert. So these are some of the activities which we are trying to get to the people that if they cut a tree, they should plant a tree. If you look like here in UK, there is this big power station which is being built. I think it's up in Sheffield. They're going to use wood to generate electricity. But also they're going to plant a lot of forests so that they get the wood. So it's also a means of renewable energy. So we are saying back home, we should also plant trees. Then you can use the plant for your energy.
Because I know in this country, the tree planting thing, it's also, it's a tax relief, right? That's how they do it. So like you have like reforestation going on in the north of Scotland, I think a lot of it. It's a way of actually, if they're making money, they can actually put money into reforestation and they get whatever the percentage is back off the government or whatever like that, or the government puts a portion in. But I'm assuming that there's no system like that for reforestation in Zimbabwe.
At the present moment, no, we don't have a system like that. But we used to have some big companies which were also planting trees for, let's say, the wattle company. They will use the bark for that tree for other uses. But we are saying if we can promote also the planting of trees in the rural areas, it will curb the desertification. And also we are looking at the way of when we are fencing our stands. instead of having wire, if we can plant also like some shrubs which will grow up to be trees right around the homestead. Apart from giving them fuel, they also, with the, plants, and they produce oxygen. They take in the carbon dioxide during the night. So it can also produce a healthier climate.
So do you just work across Zimbabwe, or do you also have contact with neighbouring countries or other countries?
Yeah, we do have a SADC. So we work through the SADC, but mostly we've been working through, most of our partners have been from Zambia and South Africa.
So Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, they're the three main countries who are actually pushing renewable energy.
We meet at conferences because we've got the SADC region. And also in the SADC region, we've got a component of energy. They've been looking at the generation of electricity, let's say for the big cities and also for industry. But we are looking at the renewable energy as a source for small-scale companies and also in the rural areas. Because the transmission of energy using the high cables is very expensive. You see, when renewable energy started, they were just saying maybe it was just we a group of people who just wanted to do something novel. But now it really has got a place in our economy.
So you know the Nobel Prize winner from Kenya?
Oh, that lady.
Yeah. Did you make contact with her?
Environment.
Yeah.
Remember, Nairobi used to be where all the meetings were held. And I think they still got that post for environment. I know she did a lot of work. But then, our Department of Environment are the ones who will have to contact him.
Like how you're doing this work, right, and you have to do research as well. I mean, what is the kind of climate for scientists and researchers we'll start with in Zimbabwe first anyway?
Well, the government have got a place called the Scientific and Industrial Research Center. But these are now looking at on the formal aspect of research as such. Whereas if we go into the rural areas, some of the issues which are being tackled by these big, like the university and these centers, really does not, let's say, uplift the living standards of the rural people. Because if you take like biogas, the person just digs his hole, or fuels it up with manure, get the gas, take it into his kitchen and then uses it. But if you look at some of now if you are going to, let's say, research, like now they want to break down so that they can find the components of that biogas and so forth and so forth. To us, that's more of academic research, whereas we are only interested at the present moment on the practical aspect of it. We do have some institutes who are doing those research.
Because what you said is just like that's practical. The actual innovative research, does a lot of investment go into that, or do most people have to come out of Africa and actually go to Europe or America or wherever like that, or China or wherever?
To do this innovative research?
Yeah.
You see, the way we look at it and the way the people look at what we're doing, let's say in biogas, it doesn't really need a lot of people to go into America or Britain to do this, because we're just using our local resources. But if you are now talking about atomic energy, now we need people to go out and do some work on, let's say, on the big power stations. Like if you are going to put a hydropower or a big mini hydropower, they really have to do some, this research, which say when people have got to go outside the country and do it. Whereas with biogas, such a simple research.
So how many towns would you say in Zimbabwe have adopted biogas, or how many communities?
I think the last time in which we did a survey, I think we had about 150 biogas plants scattered throughout the country. But at the present moment, we've got about 10 schools which have attached to biogas. We've taken their refuse dumps and their toilets, which have been connected to for the production of biogas.
Are people generally happy for that kind of energy provision, or would they rather have like the more prestige type projects which look good but maybe aren't as efficient or are more costly or whatever, just because they see that, oh, this is what a developed country looks like and we want to have exactly the same as what they've got, even though the infrastructure is maybe a bit different?
You see, if you take like Zimbabwe, it's a big country. To draw the power lines to every corner of the country would be very, very expensive. So we've been looking at using solar photovoltaics. We had a project with the UNDP where they financed the photovoltaics, like PV cells and so forth. And then we train people to actually install those systems in the rural areas.
These are the ones that can just go on the roof of any building?
Yeah. So in that way, we cut off these drawing the cable lines is very expensive. And also normally we are using low amounts of energy. The mains only to use about for lighting only and for radio and television. Some of those can be catered for by using the solar panels. And then for cooking, if we introduce biogas, so you've got your lighting, your radio and television, and your cooking.
Because it's not really like, I suppose once you get out in the rural areas, there's no industry.
No, there's no industry.
It's not like we've got a big industrial complex there.
Yeah.
Right. So that's all the main industries are like in the bigger towns.
Yeah, they're in the bigger towns. Yeah.
So for coping with demand in the bigger towns, then obviously it needs a grid.
We need a lot of electricity. Unfortunately, we don't have gas as such. In most of our in Zimbabwe, no, we don't have gas. We've only gas at the coal mines, but it's not piped as it is here in UK.
Welcome to NUBIART with myself, Kubara. NUBIART, a different perspective on the African world. Do you think, with all that Zimbabwe has between the sun and the wind and the biogas and the electric that's there, if it was managed properly, it could be self-sufficient?
The aim of every country is to be self-sufficient in energy. But unfortunately, we don't have oil. So even if we are self-sufficient in electricity and, let's say, on wood fuel and these other things, we'll still have to import the oil. But the main aim is to minimize the use of imported fuels. If we can have our own energy generated in the country, the better.
Apart from oil, are there any other stumbling blocks to Zimbabwe being self-sufficient?
If everybody is willing, let's say, to use renewable energy, I don't see a lot of stumbling blocks now.
This is a willingness.
Guys, what we've discovered in this project, so when you start with the project, is the willingness of the people. Yeah. But if they see somebody is actually using it, they also want that same thing. Well, because I give a good example of the photovoltaics. First of all, they said, no, we don't want these photovoltaics, we want grid electricity. So when they compared the prices now of grid electricity and photovoltaics, and then they saw some people actually using those photovoltaics, they also said, okay, now we also go to photovoltaics.
Has the government planned to make a law that say every new house must either have some biogas unit or solar panels?
It's difficult, I don't want to lie to you, it's difficult for a government to put such a law. Because some of the houses are scattered. And if you are going to say drive, let's say you've got about 30 kilometers, and some of these farms, just to get the cables there and also to get the infrastructure will be very difficult. So there is no such a law as such that each house should have this. But there is an encouragement, like if you are going to put, we use a lot of electricity, heating water. So if you are saying if you put a solar water heater on top of your roof, like what they do in Cyprus, if they can get, let's say, a percentage will be deducted and so forth, that would be a very big encouragement.
Okay, so you're pushing for the government to do that?
I'm really pushing for that, yeah.
Obviously, people like you who've got a lot to offer, a lot of people say, well, the country that I grew up in, the infrastructure isn't there or the incentive isn't there for me to stay. So we have what's called the brain drain of people going out and actually building up the economies of other countries with the skills that if the structure was there for them to pool their skills back in their home country, then they would be able to build up Africa. So how do you view this kind of brain drain?
You see, that's a difficult issue. Because the way I see it, if the facilities are there, people never leave that country. So who is going to put those facilities? It's like the chicken, the egg, which comes first. Like us, of course, I've been working in Zimbabwe, yet I did my education here. We still feel a set of responsibility for the country, because that's the only thing which we have. You see, the development aspect of it, here it's very developed. Whereas in Africa, we're still trying to develop and we have our own problems, which are really, on the scientific aspect, we don't have a lot of problems. But maybe it's on the social aspect. That's where I think we can get problems, and then people start saying, why should I stay here? Yet I can use my intellect somewhere without having all these problems.
But sometimes you find that the person's trained and skilled in something that's needed in their homeland, but they're going to a foreign country and they're not using their skills, or maybe doing a job that's totally unrelated to what they were trained in, or is actually beneath, you know, the thing of the minicab driver who's got a PhD in whatever, right? And all they're doing is, okay, they're getting the money. The cash money's feeding back, but the skills and the talent and the knowledge is not actually feeding back to build up the country.
Exactly, that's what's happening in the third world.
You know, so it's like, so all the time it's always going backwards, or it's a standstill at best, but it's always going backwards. It's like it's always catch up as far as any kind of energy self-sufficiency or economic production or anything like that compared to what's called the West. Or I mean, even like, you know, you see the thing where China's moving into a lot of countries, investing a lot of money. Everybody's buying made in China products, but you know, if they structured their countries, they could maybe at least put one made in Zimbabwe or one made in South Africa product on the market.
Yeah, we've got them. If you go to Sainsbury's there, you see chilies.
Too.
You see chilies from Zimbabwe and so forth. Some of these foodstuffs.
No, but you know what I'm talking about. You know the levels I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like some little cash crop. I'm talking about industrialized projects, infrastructure projects.
You see, proposals which we wanted to put across was, let's say if we get those other countries, we have our own factory which will be producing solar panels. Then the price of solar panels will be very cheap. Then the people can afford. Whereas at the present moment we are made to import using scarce foreign currency. So these are some of the things which we think might help us if we get like the SADC community.
I remember the discussion, I remember it's coming back. The German-made solar panels were cheaper than the African-made solar panels. That came up in the discussion. Like, so the solar panels were to be made in Germany and imported into Africa. They were being made cheaper than the African products on the ground.
But then why don't they just upgrade the equipment which are making the African solar panels? Then they will be on par with the German. Then at least we will have a lot of solar panels.
I think there might have been an intellectual property dispute or something, you know, where the finished product is always where the value is.
But then we're supposed to be one global village.
Yeah, you tried telling me.
No, that's right. We are supposed. We are not yet.
Looking at like what you would like to see for your country or for Southern Africa as a region or Africa as a whole, what kind of help could, say, people living outside Africa, what kind of support could we actually give you that would actually push you more on the way to becoming self-sufficient?
Yes, you see, you touched a very good point when you talked about solar panels being made in Germany and Central Africa. If we can industrialize in Africa, if we can get also those machines so that we can make our own solar products, then Africa will grow up. We still have, I don't know what they're actually doing now in North Africa, especially in Morocco or something. They used to have a good solar project, it were doing. So at the present moment, we are stuck because financially we cannot afford some of these panels. But what we really want is to use this to uplift the people, the lives of the people in the rural areas. Also, the other thing which we've noticed is we've been concentrating mostly in the rural areas, neglecting the towns. Because you'll see, if you look at some of the pictures from Africa, most of the African suburbs are slums. So if you're going to start building houses like flats, then we should also incorporate a factor of renewable energy. Like if you are going to put solar water heaters on top of the houses, instead of putting asbestos or these tiles. So at least you'll cut the energy bill. You won't be using electricity to heat your water, you will be using the sun to heat the water.
Is there like an African-wide organisation promoting renewable energy? Is that what the African Union, are you meant to have a department in the African Union or something
That
like that?
I don't know. I don't want to lie there, that I don't know. We used to have the one which was being chaired by Kenya in Nairobi, but it was under the environment. Whereas this energy, I'm not so sure which country was supposed to be doing it, but in the SADC, was it between Botswana and Namibia, one of them is supposed to be chairing the energy.
If anybody wants to get in touch with you, get in touch with the centre, yeah? What's the contact details?
PO Box 295Y, Causeway in Zimbabwe.
Okay, in Harare. So you're actually based in Harare, but you go out to the rural area.
Yeah.
Final message you'd like to leave with the listeners?
Well, if they can help us to promote the use of renewable energy in Africa, we'll be quite glad and we'll be quite happy to participate in anything which will bring renewable energy to Africa. Because basically the price of electricity is going up, and it means we will not be able to afford electricity. But we've got a lot of resources in Africa which we can use so that we can get our energy to the people at an affordable price.
Godfrey, thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, mercy, mercy me, yeah. All things ain't what they used to be, no. Where did all the blue skies go? Poison is the wind that blows from the north and south and east. Why? Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be, no. All wasted on the ocean and upon seas, fish full of mercury. Oh, mercy, mercy me, yeah. All things ain't what they used to be, no. Radiation on the ground and in the sky, animals and birds who live nearby, they die. Why? Oh, mercy, mercy me, yeah. All things ain't what they used to be, no. What about this overcrowded land? How much more abuse from man can she stand? Na 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 na.
That was the interview with myself and Godfrey Marawanyika from the Centre for Renewable Energy and Environmental Technology in Harare, Zimbabwe. And the PO Box 2951, I think one, Causeway, Harare, Zimbabwe. I'll give you his telephone number as well in Zimbabwe if anybody's interested and wants to get in touch with him, because he's always looking for people who want to help. So the telephone number 00263 310 536, 00263 310 536. If you like what you heard or you're interested in finding out more about renewable energy in southern Africa, mainly in Zimbabwe, but like you said, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Namibia, Botswana, South Africa, they're all involved in helping out the situation there. We're getting there. Anyway, I'm going to play some HKB Finn, My Cup.
Feeling the vibe? Come with some 21st century hip hop, Afro hip hop to you. Piano. Bringing some new school vibe with some old school flavors. You're feeling the pressure, let's take it to the floor. Cause my cup runneth over. Most people don't get it, but let it marinate. If you know my vitalistics, then you know we originate. New styles for your palate, new vibes for your gates, new moods, my crews bringing new soundscapes to elevate your mind state, bringing a sense of faith. Cause you cannot anticipate the route the spirit will take. I know they try to hold you back, but it's not too late. No matter what they instigate, cha-cha, invigorates. Now me and my lady really need to hibernate, cause we haven't seen much of each other of late. And my work is like a hook, it's got me feeling like the bait. It's got me rigging and jigging and jumping on life's hot plate. Cause my cup runneth over. My cup runneth over. My cup runneth over. My cup runneth over. It's getting hard to draw a card, real hard to survive. Paying these bills ain't the reason why this man is alive. I've got to strive, that's a must, but I can't relax. I'm taking 2 steps forward, taking 3 steps back. I'm overloaded by facts, texts, and emails. I've got letters from my debtors, got no time to fail. I've got no time to find myself, got no time to bail. I've got rage at my age, I got no time for jail. I've got depression and the pressure is wasting my time. Cause the illusion of inclusion has me in my mind. I'm side in the game of their design. I guess the point is I really got to go for mine. Cause my cup runneth over. My cup runneth over. My cup runneth over. My cup runneth over. Third Johnson, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounds of HKB Finn from the album Acoustic Afro Hip Hop, track 1, My Cup. The album's going to be coming out March the 28th.
To give thanks and praise to the true creator. Without his love and protection, it could be much later. Before you recognize that you're in the mire, before you start to realize you lost your fire. So watch your back, watch your front, and watch for vampires, cause they always come around. When you're feeling tired, they get you wired to their vibe. From dawn to dusk, then they extract your essence and leave the hustle bust out. When everything is getting complicated, watch out. When the problems ever congregated, check out. Find the dream that you anticipated. I know the job you really hated. Got to stay motivated, dedicated to this. Only truth will suffice in the pie we call life. I don't want no slice, I want the recipe so I can be as cool as ice. So try once, try thrice, determination's the dice in my cup runneth over. My cup runneth over. My cup runneth over. My cup runneth over. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm piano we have Tunde Jegede. Feel the vibe. Don't know. 21st century hip hop. Right here, peace. Modernization be here now. Harmonics of the yin yang. Yeah, 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 yeah. My cup runneth over.
Sounds of HKB Finn. Okay, I'm going to play the other promo. I hope it works today. Last week it never worked. Yeah, this is going to be my signing out tune. It's going to be Sangoma from the album Ancient Civilizations of Southern Africa. And that's available on the ARC Music. This one's out right now. Okay.
susabantwana endleleni, isangoma, isangoma, susabantwana endleleni, siyaxhakazela, siyaxhakazela, susabantwana endleleni, vulindlela, vulindlela, susabantwana endleleni.
Before I go, make me just give you the contact details for Godfrey Marawanyika, PO Box 2951, Causeway, Harare, Zimbabwe. PO Box 2951, Causeway, Harare, Zimbabwe. The telephone number is 00263 310 536. 00263 310 536.
Susabantwana endleleni, isangoma, isangoma, susabantwana endleleni.
I want to thank you all for tuning into the NUBIART show. On next week's show, I should be interviewing somebody from Uganda, and then 2 weeks' time, we'll be looking at the Zimbabwean elections, the forthcoming elections. They've got elections on the 31st of March, so we'll be focusing on Zimbabwe again. Anyway, this is myself, Kabara. I'm signing out. You all take care. And like I say, keep it locked to Sound Radio. I'll catch you all up next week. I'm gone.
Yes, na 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 na, yes. Yes, it's gonna be more terrible than the great 9/11 bombing. As the youths, them future seems to be so foggy. More terrible than the great Ethiopia famine. As the youths, them future seems to be so foggy. Leaders of the world, be careful what you're planning. Tired of the bloodshed, but it keeps on coming. Old folks start their war while the youths lose their life in it. So tell me why some people put their pride in it. It's gonna be more terrible than the great 9/11 bombing. All the youths, them future seems to be so foggy. It's gonna be more terrible than the great Ethiopia famine. As the youths, them future seems to be so foggy.
NUBIART, a different perspective on the African world.